Alright, Act 2, Quest 2. This is the longest one that we've had so far. It has you go into multiple dungeons, collecting a bunch of different items, and you're going to have to face off against a bunch of bosses. So let's just hop right in and get to it.
I have heard of your many deeds of skill and bravery. I feel I can trust you with something I have been hesitant to speak of. Drognin and I have concluded that the Dark Wanderer who passed through here recently was Diablo himself. Drognin believes that Diablo is searching the desert for the secret tomb where the great Horadric mage Tal Rasha keeps Baal imprisoned. You must find Diablo and put an end to the terrible evil that has fallen upon our city. Drognin is wise and is sure to have some helpful advice for you as to how Tal Rasha's tomb may be found. It may take you quite some time to find the tomb. May you be ready when you do.
So his little speech there actually opens up the last quest. This happens a lot in the game after this point. You know, it's not that big a deal or anything. Just continue on in the quest order and listen to anyone who's got a bubble over their head, and you'll be fine. Okay, let's head out into the Rocky Wastes. This is like a desert area filled with beetles, lizards, buzzards, these little creatures. I don't know what you would call them. They're like these little frog, hoppy monster type things. There's also a little bonus dungeon you can run through called the Stony Tomb. I definitely would do that if I were you. I will do it myself, but I'm not going to actually show that because that's not technically part of the quest. So, moving on. So beyond the Rocky Wastes is the Dry Hills. That's actually where the objective dungeon for your first item is located. There's also a waypoint there. I don't think there's any special bonus dungeons in there. At least I didn't come across any when I was running around. Okay, so the Halls of the Dead is the objective point for our first item that we have to collect. Inside of there's like these shaman type dudes that are like big freaking Egyptian looking things that'll res up their skeletons. They're corpses that when you kill them, they give off a poisonous gas cloud, and there are traps that you have to watch out for. The third floor is where the cube is actually in its side of the treasure chest, but make sure you don't forget to get the waypoint on the second floor. So let's go down and see if we can beat the boss. Okay, so I died. We were going to have to talk about death at some point. I mean, it's going to happen to you eventually. When you die, you respawn in town with all of your money gone and nothing equipped to you. Any money you had in the bank is safe, which is why you always see me dropping off money in my bank every time I port back. What you can do from here is you can actually save and exit, and then when you reload, your corpse will be inside town near the bank, and you can just click on it and you'll get all your shit back. You won't get your money back though. Your other option is to run back to your corpse inside the dungeon, click on it, and you'll automatically re-equip all your shit except for potions. That's generally what I do, but it can be kind of a bitch because all the monsters that just killed you are right on top of your corpse. So, good luck. Alright, now that we got all our shit back, let's head back into the fight and get a little payback. There's the first item, the Horadric Cube. You're going to be using that a lot in this game. And of course I'm going to show you how to use it after we continue the quest. You're going to want to go talk to Senor Kane, and he's going to give you a little spiel.
You have quite a treasure there in that Horodric cube. According to Horodric lore, the cube can restore a Horodric staff. To do it, use the cube as you would a scroll. When the cube opens, place both pieces of the staff into it and use the cube's transmute power. You'll be pleased to know that the cube has other alchemical uses as well. 6 gems plus 1 sword transmute into a socketed longsword. You may also transmute 2 quivers of crossbow bolts into 1 quiver of arrows, while 2 quivers of arrows yield 1 quiver of bolts. I must leave it to you to discover other formulae.
So like the old man said, you throw items into the cube, hit the transmute button, and it melds them together. You may have noticed that I've been collecting a crap load of these rejuvenation potions. That's because if you combine 3 rejuvenation potions together, it creates a full rejuvenation potion, which heals you for both health and mana for 100%, which is pretty sweet. And I like to save those for the really tough boss fights. The rule of 3 also applies to gems and I believe runes. If you combine 3 of the same gem, you'll get the next tier gem of the same kind. And if you combine 3 of the same rune, you get the next tier rune. Yeah, it's quite helpful. Some people that play this game, they like to use the cube as a storage device while out questing, but I just like to leave it in my bank. So our next objective is to collect the shaft. There's so many dirty jokes in there that I could use, but I'm gonna pass. Anyways, the shaft is inside Maggot Lair's hole. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Which is located in the far oasis. Just make sure you don't miss out on collecting any of the waypoints that are between the last spot and here. So you're going to need to fight your way down to the 3rd floor of the Maggot Lair. That's where the boss is, and the treasure chest containing the Staff of Kings. So the boss guarding the Staff of Kings is this giant bulbous maggot creature, kind of like I kind of think of it like a queen bee, but queen maggot. That doesn't really make much sense, I guess, but yeah, I mean, these maggots, do they turn into the itches that you fight? It doesn't really, I don't get it, because the maggots are harder than the itches. Why would the maggots devolve into something weaker? Anyways, kick his ass and then collect your treasure, the Staff of Kings. After the staff is securely in your possession, open up a town portal and go talk to Deckard Cain. He's got a few words he wants to jibba-jabba in your ear.
The Staff of Kings! You astound me, my friend. You have discovered the shaft portion of a Horodric staff. I trust you know how to use a Horodric cube to unite the shaft with its headpiece.
Pretty much as soon as you enter the Lost City, the world's going to go dark. This is actually part of the 3rd quest, and you can go back to town and talk to Jognan about it, but it's going to get completed alongside the 2nd quest. The ancient tunnels are located in the Lost City, and it's a bonus dungeon you can run, which of course I will do, but I won't really show it. As per usual, I suggest you run it yourself for experience. Beyond the Lost City in the Valley of the Snakes is the Claw Viper Temple. This is where you're going to get the amulet, which is actually the headpiece to the Horodric staff that we're trying to build. So go ahead and get in there and fight some fucking snakes.
Oh no, snakes. I hate snakes.
So the 2nd floor is actually where the amulet is located. There's also a fuck ton of snakes, so you're going to want to kick all their asses. and then afterwards go into the center of the room and click on the altar, and it's going to explode with all these light effects and stuff. This actually completes quest 3, and then you're going to take the amulet back to town with you.
The Viper amulet you bear is actually the headpiece of a Horadric staff. Yes, you have an uncanny knack for finding rare and valuable artifacts. Of course, you'll have to use a Horadric cube to combine the headpiece with the shaft.
Okay, so let's throw all the pieces into the Horadric cube, hit the transmute button, and there's a nice little animation, and we get the Horadric staff, which we'll actually have to hold on to until pretty much the last quest. Okay, so that's the end of quest 2 and 3, even though quest 2 doesn't actually clear until you beat the whole act. That's it. Thanks for watching.